Also from Horns at Half Past, brought to you by Dr. Greg Eckert. Wrap up our Combine conversation. Longhorns, as he said, if you want to watch the Longhorns at the Combine, if you missed Anthony Hill and Trey Moore yesterday, and Anthony Hill had himself a heck of a day, Trey Moore was solid, but not spectacular. Today's your day, because 4 of the 7 Longhorns will work out, because today is defensive backs and tight ends. And so you're going to have Manny Muhammad, Michael Taaffe, Jalen Gilbo, and Jack Endries going through their workouts. But, if you know the Longhorn story here in Austin, Texas in the 5-1-2, you know Michael Taaffe's story, right? From high school state champion and MVP twice to walk-on to All-American and captain on a really damn elite Texas defense. And now he's trying to continue the storybook and climb into the National Football League. And, when he was a walk-on out of Westlake High School, if you said Michael Taaffe is going to play on Sunday someday, I don't think many people would have agreed with you on that. But this guy has kept his head down, gotten better, grew into his body a little bit. He's still not, he's going to still have plenty of skeptics at the NFL level because of his size. And we'll see how he works out today and runs. But here's Michael Taaffe on being a walk-on, because we know that story very well. It's been told over and over again, but the national folks were asking Michael about it yesterday in Indianapolis.
It was a long stretch, a bumpy road for me, but I'm so grateful for every single opportunity that I had, because, man, like you learn so much down the road being a walk-on, and you learn how to do it, in my belief, the right way, where nothing's given to you. You have to earn everything. You got to earn respect. You got to earn playing time. You got to earn leadership. You got to earn everything, and I was so blessed. The University of Texas gave me everything that I needed. The coaches gave me everything that I needed.
All right, so Michael Taaffe, Jalen Gilbo, and Manny Muhammad. Probably the most important for Manny Muhammad today. He's got, he's a 5-star player out of high school in South Dallas. Played great as a sophomore. The whole defense took a step back this year, and he was part of that. He needs to show a top 40 time. Then they're looking for speed. They're looking for athleticism. And we'll see if Manny, because the Longhorns, Anthony Hill included, they've performed well at this combine. Talk about Torrey Becton and the strength conditioning, how they do things. Xavier Worthy and the 40 time that everybody's chasing now. Matthew Golden blew up the combine last year. And so I think at this point, Jack, you just expect the Longhorns to blow up the combine. You know what I mean? And that's credit to their individual trainers, but also Torrey Becton and the strength conditioning program at Texas. I think that shows to be, and Sark talks about it quite a bit, because when you're on the recruiting trail, whether they're portal or high school players, that is a sell. Come compete for championships, get a great education, if that's your push, and then play in the NFL. And the Longhorns are delivering. Not as many this year with just 7, but you can see that I would expect you'll see. It's almost surprising now when a Longhorn doesn't show up and have himself a good day. And listen to Anthony Hill. He said, listen to him this week. He was like, man, I'm glad to get out of Texas, because that Torrey Becton guy was wearing me out.
Everything's hard when it's 140 degrees outside, so those moments are tough, and I'm glad that's in my past. I don't got to do that, none of that no more. So them 7s, the Longhorn shuttles, I'm looking at their Instagram, I'm seeing what they're doing right now, and I'm like, I'm done with that stuff.
I'm done, because of course right now before the spring workouts begin, it's Torrey Becton and his staff running the winter workouts, and they're becoming somewhat of legend. And Anthony Hill's like, I'm glad I'm done with that.
Yeah, you work hard.
Peace out.
Yeah, this combine stuff's easy when it's indoors or in Indianapolis.
All right, so Anthony Hill 4.52.5 yesterday. And as we said, a really good. And so now we'll see Manny Muhammad, probably the most elite athlete of the guys running today. Jack Endries can help himself a lot, too, at a very lean tight end spot. He has a chance to show athleticism. We'll watch them today. Texas women's basketball, since that Vanderbilt loss we mentioned, they have gone on and won 4 in a row since being called out by their head coach.
More what we're used to, right?
Yeah. Well,
beating up on these teams.
Texas has 1 game to go in the regular season. Point is, they beat a ranked Georgia team by 29 last night.
Technically.
29 points last night, 79-50. And since they were called out by their head coach, all they've done is go 4-0. They beat Tennessee and Knoxville a couple days later after that loss, and then they beat Arkansas by 31, Mississippi State by 50, and last night they won by 29. And these are SEC teams. 2 of them, one of those games was on the road. So that's their 42nd straight home win last night. That's 27 wins out of 30 games. And that's why through 30 games, Jack, you can say that Vanderbilt game was the outlier. The other 2 losses were close losses at South Carolina, at LSU.
Yeah.
That was a bad night. But you can have bad nights if you have 29 other really good nights.
And there's levels to it in college basketball. I mean, you'll see that in the first round. As much as the men's side, they tend to beat up on the 1-16 matchups. In the women's, you could win that game by like 100. And you even see that in the top 25. The teams in the top 10 are leagues ahead of the teams in the top 20, top 30.
Well, and then there's UConn, who's undefeated. They won again last night.
By the way, it was like 49-18 at halftime of this game.
Yeah, Texas was really good.
They rolled.
They're going to wrap up their regular season slate Sunday morning, 11 a.m. at Alabama. Then they'll get ready for the SEC tournament. Speaking of dominant, Jack, also for the Longhorn weekend here on Horns at Half Past, brought to you by Dr. Greg Eckert. How about the 8-0 Texas baseball team, top ranked number 3 in the country? They're going to head out of the 5-1-2 for the first time in 2026. They'll head down 290 for the Houston Bruce Bolt Classic at Dyken Park. And you say, who is Bruce Bolt? Any guesses? Bruce Bolt?
Is he like one of those mascots that you have to outrun at the outfield?
I'm glad you asked, Jack. Bruce Bolt is a very popular brand of baseball batting gloves.
Oh, okay.
But the batting glove brand, Bruce Bolt, was founded right here in Austin, Texas, back in 2017. Bruce Bolt is the name. Apparently, there was a grandfather of a kid who was a real good baseball player, and he was tired of buying batting gloves, and they just didn't last. I'm not doing a commercial for him, but apparently he's like, why can't we build some batting gloves? And I can relate to this, whether you're buying golf gloves or baseball gloves. Why does it only last for a little while? Why can't this last longer? So Bruce Bolt that's what that is. Texas will face the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina. That was one of the best teams in all of college baseball last season. National runners-up, if you've forgotten. Maybe you tuned it out when Texas fell out, but LSU won the national championship for the second time in 3 seasons.
They're banged up right now. I think they're down their 2 best pitchers now.
They are.
That's
Three.
tough.
3.
All right. Ugh.
Yeah, they've been hit hard by the injury bug to start the year, but they're off to a 5-2 start. But with Kevin Schnall, got to know him during their run to Omaha. Because remember, they got to Omaha on a 23-game win streak and went 3-2 in Omaha, lost to LSU, the best team in college baseball last year. But you're right, they've already suffered 3 key pitching injuries. Meanwhile, Texas will play Baylor Saturday night and then Ohio State. But can I just say how dominant Texas has been? It's one thing to be 8-0. Because you could argue Texas should be number 1 in the country, but UCLA's number 1 in the country. They're playing in that tournament up in Arlington. They have 2 losses.
Texas to McNeese.
Yeah, Texas is 8-0. Through 8 games, Jack, they've scored 80 runs. They've allowed 13. Texas has slugged 33 extra base hits in those 8 games. The opponents have 10. And 0 home runs. They haven't given up a home run? Mm-hmm. Team batting average for Texas is .340. The vanquished 8 opponents' team batting average, .163.
That's pretty good.
So they've been dominant.
And they've only really had to sweat in one of those games.
And so now you play a national runner-up. You play Baylor out of the Big 12, who's off to a 5-2 start, 6-2 start. And then you play Ohio State on Sunday afternoon in front of what should be a pretty big crowd. But I wanted to play this for you. This is great. This is Jim Schlossnagle. Analytics, data. There's so much data out there now. I love this from Jim Schlossnagle. He's still old school. He uses the data. Max Weiner, his pitching coach, Troy Tulowitzki. But he said he still thinks the best players ignore the data. They want to know it for information, but when they show up, they just want to play ball.
Some of them are too data hungry. They want a lot of information. The least data hungry player is Mendoza, which I love. He doesn't. I don't need to see that stuff. I just want to compete. I think there are some of the pitchers that like knowing kind of their pitch shapes. I think, and not from a standpoint of have it be a crutch, but from confidence. From a confidence standpoint, it's like, when I execute this pitch, it's a really good pitch. It doesn't mean it's not going to get hit and not going to get hit hard, because that's what baseball is. But that's a really good question. I'm not sure. Anybody that's super data hungry is probably not a good player, because it's way more about being a competitor than it is about, being perfect with data. And data's not with you in the batter's box. All you have is yourself and the bat and getting a good pitch to hit.
I like that. Anybody who's too data hungry is probably not a good player. They're probably searching for answers at some level.
Yeah.
And he says Ethan Mendoza, their leadoff hitter, second baseman, is the least data hungry. I don't need that stuff.
I think that's great.
Just give me the bat.
At a program like Texas, you have to marry the two, right? You don't want to be too number hungry.
Knowledge
you
is
got to
power.
go play baseball, but
you'd be silly not to want the information.
Of course.
But how do you put it into practice, and what do you do with it? Paralysis by analysis can happen.
Exactly.
Ask me when I try to play golf and try to analyze my golf swing and start recording it. I'm like, what are you doing?
You can punch too many numbers into the Excel sheet and you can start to get confused and lose what got you there in the first place.
All right. So there you go. If you're looking for your calendar of the weekend, you've got 3 Texas baseball games, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Texas basketball, the women play Sunday at 11 o'clock. The Texas men play tomorrow at 2 o'clock in College Station in kind of a must-win game for the Longhorns at College Station. The Texas softball team will host the Longhorn Invitational at Red and Charlene McCombs Field starting today against the University of Houston.
By the way, all that baseball, you can find it on YouTube, not YouTube TV, regular YouTube.
Is that
I think
right?
It's on the Houston Astros YouTube page. It's all live streamed for free.
And if you get the Astros games like I do on my AT&T Sportsnet, or what do they call that now, you'll get these games, I believe.
Yeah.
And then if you're looking for the games up in Arlington, if you're an Aggie fan, or Arizona State or UCLA or any of those programs, Mississippi State, Tennessee is up in Arlington, you can find that on Flow Sports, the Flow Sports app or flowsports.com. So, yeah, softball tournament here. Everything else is pretty much on the road. Texas is at College Station. And what do we make of this game, Jack, quick? We'll preview it closer later on, but this is a huge game for Sean Miller and his team, coming off the loss to Florida where they were tied or leading with 8 minutes to play and got blown off the floor by one of the best teams in college basketball. Horns are now 17-11, 8-7 in the SEC. They go to the Aggies, who are 19-9, 9-6 in the SEC for the 2 o'clock tip on ESPN2. But Bucky McMillan's team has struggled of late. Texas has played, they had a 6-game win streak. Then they lost to 2 really good teams, in Georgia at Georgia and then Florida. But the Aggies are kind of scuffling here a little bit. But they know how important this game is. They beat Texas back on January 17th by 4. But Texas is a different team than they were on January 17th here on February the 27th. What are the odds you put on Texas winning this game, afternoon affair at Aggie Land?
I mean, I think it's like 50-50.
Yeah, me too. That's what I'm
I think
at.
Texas is better than A&M right now, but it's just a hard matchup because A&M likes to get into the paint and score on the inside, and Texas does not stop you from doing so.
Yeah, that's Florida. All right, well that's your Longhorn schedule for the weekend. A lot of road stuff. Softball tournaments here. NASCAR out at Coda. If you're looking for some room, they're getting after it into the month of March.